Timber Adventures. Nessie, Timber, and myself would like to say happy fall. We want to share a nice fall walk that we did with you. It mixes a fall season walk along with some history. And thank you very much. And if you like our content, please give us a like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.
Little Toby-Clarion Trail coming up on Vineyard Run. Old stone wall left. Old stone wall left there. And it was the site of the Portland Lumber Company in Vineyard Run. Portland Lumber Company of Ridgeway built a small sawmill on Vineyard Run, about a half mile east of Ridgeway and Clearfield Railroad. In 1883, the village was built that included a depot and a store. Logs were skidded and splashed down Vineyard Run. Eventually, logging railroads were built up both branches of the Vineyard Run. There's a second Vineyard Run up that way. To bring the logs to mill, the mill was dismantled in 1895 and moved to north to Croyland, near the mouth of Laurel Run. Croyland is actually up this way. It's actually amazing to look at the terrain. And you can see the old, when you get up in there, you can see the old walls of where they would have built up for splash dams and old remnants of different things such as that. But when you look overall and you think to yourself, like that picture back there, just wide open and clear cut, and then you're looking at it nowadays and it's just hard to imagine it looking like that. It's just very amazing. Beautiful Pennsylvania fall day. Sometimes I think I should just keep filming while I walk around and enjoy the outdoors, but too often I turn my camera on video off when I'm walking. So, but this is Toby Creek. Massive gravel bars coming out, and usually all of that is underwater. So our water levels are really, really low. 2024 here. It's a beautiful fall day. So we're coming up in an area where there was a little house in this clearing here at one time. And there's information about the house on a storyboard down here. Trail markers, trail guide, storyboard, whatever you wish to call it. This little flat area would have been a nice terrace also. Back before the settlers came along. Probably would have been a Good area to hang out for indigenous starters. It's the old foundation of the old house. Since we're down here, I might as well take you in and show you the foundation. Even if my dogs tangle me up and trip me, which is highly possible. Good job, guys. Yeah, pretty old. Neat. Come on, squirrel. Don't even think about it. We're coming up on, once again, Little Toby Rail Trail, and we're coming up on a famed spot where everybody will bicycle down to and usually visit and turn around and go back up from the town of Brockway. This used to be the town of Blue Rock, ghost town. I used to sit through here. And we have a little sign about it. Blue Rock, Elmont. Around 1810, a Mr. Slade married an Indian maiden from Blue Rock. A.J. Thompson of Brockwayville built a sawmill here in 1856. Bracket Dam was built, and Blue Rock became a major rafting point on the Little Toby Creek with a village, stores, hotels. James L. Ellis came down to own the mill and leased it to his brothers Norman and William Lane in 1867. Post office was changed to Elmont in 1887. The Bracket Dam served the bridge until 1902 when an iron bridge was built. Its abutments still stand and now holds the swinging bridge over Little Toby Creek. So as I said, this is a often stopover from people coming down from Brockway, and it's marked, of course, with the dogs are tangling me, so they stop. So here we come down. It's marked with a sign, Toby, and a sign over here, swinging bridge. Now just down trail is the railroad bridge, which is a this is a swinging bridge, and it's called the Celibate Trestle. Don't think too hard about that one. Let's check out the abutment. Tell you what, these two keep me on my toes. Or possibly off my toes sometimes. Stones all through here. Stone wall here. That was indeed the sound of me tripping, in case anybody was wondering. Just real quick. Good stone wall. Looky here. The swinging bridge over Toby Creek. The water's usually up around here, so water level's way down. Very cool. And Nessie's going to find out that the water is very cool too. Swinging rope and a picnic table over there. And this is the swinging bridge. I will not be going over the swinging bridge today, not with these two bumbleheads. Although she's willing, and well, he's willing too until I say no. Very cool. So I do have to show you, this is amusing. So we have these signs. So as I'm coming up to it, we have a sign here, and we have a sign over here. Now both of the signs are facing that direction. When you come around to read the sign, it says, danger, unsafe conditions, keep off. So that kind of needs changed around. Somebody either switched those or looks like they were probably pulled out and switched, but it's kind of funny. All right, we're heading back. Another danger, keep off, facing the wrong way. In memory of Stephanie Christ, donated by the Christ family. So thank you to the family for providing a nice bench down here. So when you're going through the woods here, there's a lot of ruins that you can find. And if it's not like ruins, I'm talking like quarried block here and there, which kind of tells you that there were different buildings in certain areas. And if it's not ruins, like an actual foundation type, you can follow the landscape and read the landscape to see where different features were. In case anybody was wondering what kind of land features I was talking about back there that stand out, where you can read the landscape, I was going to go in a little bit and show you, but there's a hunter in a tree stand, and it's deer season, so I'm not going to go traipsing around and disturb him. He could see me from the trail and gave me a little wave, so I'll return the courtesy and wave back and leave him to his hunting another time. I have to make a mental note to myself that this rock is huge, and it would be a nice prime spot to find some historic carvings, especially knowing that there was a history of logging and rafting here. So someday when I'm not tagging along these two, I'll have to stop by and check that out. Oh, that's a big tree. That's got some old growth to it. If you ever had any thoughts about where all the stone for the bridges came from, it was quarried off of many, many sections all through here. A lot of large sandstone formations. Something interesting of note, when we were back at the swinging bridge, we still haven't got to the celibate trestle yet. It's up here a ways. But when we were down there, I was looking at the blocks, and I noted it when looking real quick, but didn't even say anything, but there was no hobo signs. I'm going to be doing a video on hobo signs. And it was interesting to note there was nothing like that under that bridge. And there's a reason why is that was a very early bridge. The hobo era didn't occur until well after that bridge's use, or I should say heavy use, was done. And by the time the hobo era came along, the town of Blue back there was already a ghost town, and there was no town there. So there would have been no reason for a hobo to hang out in that area, because there was no homes, no houses, no businesses. So that's why I think you'll see that there was nothing in that area from that time era. from the hobo time. So down here in the creek, it's usually a lot higher, but there's a lot of larger boulders out here. And there's one in particular right there. And that would be an interesting rock to check out, because when the water was high, on the back side of that would have been an eddy or a different water flow altogether. And it might have been a place where a raft might hold up, or just a general stopping point to rest with it behind her. So I'm wondering, like, if you go and look at the rock, if you'd find any anchors bored into it, or maybe historic carvings from the logging era. It would be cool. It'd be a neat one to check out. This whole area is just filled with huge rock formations. Kind of neat. Just another thought. There's some more large rock outcroppings coming into the little creek. I actually canoed down this creek once when I was a child with my mom and dad, and the water was at kind of flood level, so there was no easy going. It was fast flowing the whole way down to Clarion River. And at that time, my dad wasn't the type of guy who would stop and smell the roses. He was balls out, hammering with the oars, yeah, like he was in a race all the time when it came in a canoe. I remember that about him. It was kind of funny. So on the other side of the creek, we still have a modern train. I don't know how often it comes through, but in the area where that swinging bridge is, just after it, I believe there's a tunnel that they go through. That goes through. Out here, that's about the only modern interruption for noise that you hear. Otherwise, this is pretty isolated down in here and quiet. And here we are walking back up to cover our tracks on the way back, and here we are at the swinging bridge again. So, recall what I said earlier about the bridge over there and having no hobo signs on the blocks. And the time range for why they're not there. Possibly, I should say. Although I can't imagine a hobo wanting to stay down here when there's no immediate stores or anything available. And that train went through the tunnel and is gone. And I apologize, we did see the swinging bridge, but I could not find the trestle. So I don't know if celibate trestle exists. Vineyard Run. Talked about the Portland Lumber Company earlier. And there's two branches of the Vineyard Run, and that's the first branch. Second one is just up here. Too far. One of the two likes to walk beside Dad, so whenever I let go of the leash, He's kind of hesitant. So this whole area, if you read the landscape, this would have been like a splash dam. And the landscape, you can read it, you can tell. The wall walled up the whole way through there. And now we're coming up to the other branch of Vineyard Run. Once again, we still have the landscape that you can pick out and see where the bracket dam was. It's amazing to look at this and try to picture it back then. And it's amazing. It's just tough to read. So, little Vineyard Run.